and to try your best and respect other people. Now we have Jonathan Irvine. Jonathan Irvine served in the United States Marine Corps for over 8 years. He currently works as a heart monitor technician, and one thing he would like to share with us is don't live only for yourself. Find a higher purpose and meaning for your life, and give it everything you've got. Up next, we have Ryan Ridley. Ryan Ridley spent 3 years of his life serving in the Army and is the grandfather to Cameron Ridley. He is currently a retired man who loves to hang out with his granddaughter, Cameron. One thing he would like to express is to protect your family. They always come first, and don't let the bad guys get to you. Last but not least, we have Kevin Chambers. Kevin Chambers is a full-time grandfather and homeschool teacher. He served in the Army for about 7 years of his life. One thing he would like to tell us is to be patient and to be prepared. Please put your hands together one more time for this group of heroes.
Thank you, veterans. And now we're going to hear a speech from Mr. Lloyd.
Hello, students, faculty, and honored guests. My name is Mr. Lloyd, and I'm excited to talk to you today about this special holiday, Veterans Day. I'm lucky to be one of West Jordan High School's history teachers and get the opportunity each year to teach about our great country and share stories about those who have fought to defend it. Today, I want to talk to you about the history of Veterans Day. Every year, we get the wonderful opportunity to celebrate the sacrifices and service of those who served in our armed forces on November 11th. This is a significant date in history. The reason we celebrate Veterans Day on November 11th is because that was the date that marked the end of World War I. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, peace negotiations began to end what was known as, at the time, the War to End All Wars, World War I. World War I ended with an armistice, which is an agreement to stop fighting and work towards peace. This holiday, Veterans Day, began in 1919 and at the time was called Armistice Day. Separate from Memorial Day, which is set aside to remember those who died in war, Armistice Day was celebrated to honor all who fought in World War I. The name was later changed to Veterans Day in 1954 to include soldiers who fought in both World War II and the Korean War. Today, we honor all of our veterans who served in the military, whether during times of peace or during times of war. At this time, I'd like to give my personal thank you to our honored veterans in the room with us today. So thank you. I'd also like to give a special thanks to some of our staff here at West Jordan High School, including Guy, Coach Creasy, and Mr. Dyer, who are all veterans. Also, thank you to Ms. Sassman, who is still on active duty and is currently serving overseas. My great-grandfather, next slide please, Royal Walker Rampton, served in World War I. He lived just north of here, up in Syracuse, Utah. In 1917, he volunteered to fight, was trained as an airplane mechanic, then was sent to France. When he first arrived in Europe, he fought alongside British troops who desperately needed assistance and aid. As American soldiers and troops began to arrive, it gave the hope that the Allies needed, that the war could soon come to an end. The war had left Europe scarred from all of the destruction. Soldiers were tired, they were traumatized, and they were ready for an end to the conflict. As American troops started to arrive, Grandpa Rampton continued to serve in the 22nd Aero Squadron Division. Pictured here is an actual aircraft from his squadron that was restored and is now on display in the Smithsonian. Parts of his uniform, including his helmet, are on display in a museum in Syracuse. Grandpa Rampton was lucky enough to survive the war, the final years of the war, and upon his return, he felt it to be his duty on Armistice Day each year to visit the local schools to teach the children about what had happened in World War I so they could understand it and remember its history. I feel honored to be able to, in a small way, continue that tradition as a history teacher. It is part of my obligation to make sure that this generation understands the sacrifices veterans have made to keep our country and other parts of the world safe and free. True to our core values and roots, the United States of America is the land of the free because of the brave. Thomas Jefferson wrote in the Declaration of Independence that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Veterans put their own personal lives on hold to protect our country and ensure that those rights continue to thrive and keep us free. I'm grateful to all those who have served our country. Thank you for putting your own personal lives on hold, leaving behind family, jobs, and things that you love to protect us to be able to enjoy those freedoms. Words cannot express the gratitude we have for you. We will always be thankful for our veterans because your job made it so we can enjoy our lives, continue to be free, and pursue those things that bring happiness to our lives. Thank you, veterans.
Thank you, Mr. Lloyd. To continue honoring our veterans, we will start with Robert Carter. Robert Carter is currently an HAVC tech and has served in the U.S. Navy for 4 years with an honorable discharge. He loves to hike, but also it really enjoys doing anything that involves the outdoors. One thing he would like us to know is to be present in the moment. Up next, we have Eric Christensen. Eric Christensen has spent 13 years of his life in the Army as a National Guard and is currently working for the state of Utah. One thing he would like to express to our current generation is to stand up for what you believe, even if it's unpopular. Now we have Sam Dean. Sam Dean is a full-time soldier for the Utah Army National Guard and has served there for 24 years so far. One thing he would like us to know is it doesn't matter how you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, as long as it tastes good. Next off, we have Lisa Dean. Lisa Dean has served in the Utah Army National Guard for 6 years. She is a sister to our current staff member, Miss Haight, and currently works for the school board. One thing she has to say is for us is that it's okay to stay friends with people who have different opinions. Next up, we have Christopher Banks. Christopher Banks has served in the Army for 23 years of his life and is currently an equipment specialist. One thing he wants our current generation to know is in the face of obstacles, remember your strengths. Next up, we have Ron Thrapp. Ron Thrapp is currently a real estate broker and has spent 5 years of his life serving in the Navy. One thing he wants us to know is to always strive to do your very best, no matter how simple or large the task is. Next, we have Randall Hobbs. Randall, or Randy Hobbs, is currently a retired man who enjoys life and he loves his grandkids. He has served in the Army for 24 years of his life, and one thing he wants us to know is strive to always be your best self. Up next, we have Guy Richards. Guy Richards served 1 year in the Marines to when he was stationed at Fort Douglas, Utah, in the 9th Group Fox Company. He also served 5 years in the Army, the first 2 years at Kansas and the last 3 years in Germany. He is currently a hall monitor at West Jordan High School, and one thing he wants us to keep in mind is believe in yourselves, your country, and our flag for what it stands for. Now we have Kaylee Hammerschmidt. Kaylee Hammerschmidt served in the United States Air Force for 6 years as an Air National Guard. She currently works for Delta Airlines and UTA. One thing she would like to express to us is to be kind. Remember that you are projecting a specific vibe. What you put out there is what you receive. Now to end off our last group of veterans, we would now like Joshua Lolohe to enter the stage. Joshua Lolohe is a retired man who served in the Army for 16 years. His favorite hobby is supporting his daughter, Coach Lay, and hanging out with his grandkids. One thing he would like to express with us is love your parents, respect everyone around you, and always put God first. And most importantly, go Jags. We would like to thank all of the fallen heroes who served our country and ask all of the veterans to stand up and please put hands together for our last group of heroes.
Thank you, veterans. Today we honor all those who have responded to a service call, sacrificed themselves for our country. Whether they are old, young, or even those who are not with us, West Jordan High School is proud of every veteran who has served our country. We are very proud to say that we have a current staff member who is on active duty. Mrs. Sassman is one of West Jordan High School's culinary art teachers. She is currently serving our country in Kosovo. We wanted to say thank you and show our appreciation to her and her family for her time and service in protecting freedom around the world. Please give a round of applause for Ms. Sassman.
Thank you, Boston, and thank you, Ms. Sassman. Now we'll watch a thank you video made by Porter.
Thank you so much for your service. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Porter, for that amazing video. We appreciate all your hard work. And thank you, veterans, for all your service and allowing us to honor you on this fine morning. Thank you so much, veterans. Finally, thank you, Jaguars. You are now dismissed back to your second period.